Welcome to We're Talking Bears,
where we bring you the latest in the Chicago Bears experience.
I'm Uncle,
nephew,
and I'm Son,
and we're talking Bears.
Hello, Bears Nation. Welcome to We're Talking Bears, Week 4. We're going to talk about this fiasco, the Broncos game that just went down. But before we do that, we just want to see you guys like, comment, subscribe, get involved, get engaged. We're always on Twitter, on Insta, whatever, our socials, right at the bottom of the screen. So hit us up anytime you want to talk Bears. You know where to find us. And, we love making these. We love talking, about our team, about our city. And, we just want to, make sure that everybody is involved with us. And, man, let's get to it.
Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. So, 0-3 Bears face the 0-3 Broncos. I've heard it dubbed the Toilet Bowl.
There's a lot of people said that, but I heard that whoever lost the game was getting relegated to the XFL, and whoever won the XFL was going to move up to the NFL this year. So
might be our quickest way to win. I'm not sure.
No, man, we'll be a great XFL team.
That's what I was thinking. We might do real good. But no, man. All jokes aside, man. Was it 4 touchdowns by Fields? 4 touchdowns by Fields. He looked good, much better than previous weeks that we've seen him. Looked like he was gaining that confidence. And hopefully that's something he can take away from the game. Because he played a really good game. Other than the fumble and the pick late in the game, I don't really put on him because we shouldn't have been in that position realistically, in my opinion. Yeah. So I don't put that last pick on him. But the fumble, that's got to stop. And I'm not gonna lie, it seems like every time Justin loses the ball, it's points for the other team. That has to stop, man. I know he's not like picking and choosing, like, oh, I want this to be a fumble 6 or a pick 6, but it's happening, man. And it's so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch, man. We should have won this game.
Let me bring that up because part of that is the way that, and I'm not trying to cape, I'm not trying to make excuses and talk about, Justin's turnovers or this and that. First of all, he's a young quarterback. He's got to learn the things he can and can't do by trial and error. That's the way it works, right? I was looking at stats. I was looking up stuff yesterday. We'll put a graphic on the screen, but what I found out is Justin is right where expected for a young quarterback with 30 games of starting experience, 31 games of starting experience for what it was. I think he has 38 or 39 total touchdowns and 35 turnovers, which he's positive on his turnover differential after playing with some of the worst coaching that the NFL has ever seen. The Matt Nagy game stands out as a prime example of that against the Browns. Has some of the worst teammates to line up with, guys that don't give maximum effort, guys that can't even be relied on enough to be activated on game day. We know who we're talking about here. We see him suffer through one of the toughest rebuilding seasons in recent memory, playing with guys that aren't even in the league that were starting on this squad. You know what I mean? They can't get a job now. So, like, this man has been through it with everything stacked against him. And he's still going out there competing day in and day out and still putting up good numbers. I want to say he is better than, up to this point in his career, 31 games, has a better turnover to touchdown ratio than Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Eli Manning, a couple other guys too. He's somewhere in the middle of the pack when it comes to that group of guys. This is a young quarterback who has immense talent and immense competitive fire. He's a hard worker. His teammates respect the hell out of him. And like, they just keep putting this kid in terrible situations, right? So yeah, sometimes he'll turn the ball over. Sometimes it'll turn into points for the other team. But when it comes to that specific fumble, like you can't put your quarterback in that situation. You ran these naked boots 3, 4 times, didn't run no cutback runs, didn't run nothing up that inside seam to punish those defenders, those edge defenders for cheating up and just sprinting at the quarterback in that situation. You've got to give them something to think about other than Justin Fields. There was no run to the flat in that situation. The run to the flat was Cole Kmet coming across the backside of the formation on that play. And it was super late. That should have been a either pre-snap motion so that defender has to look and say, "Oh, this dude is right in front of me. He's gonna be wide open if I sprint that way." There's nobody on that backside. You got to give them something to think about other than Justin Fields if you're gonna have him rolling a naked bootleg.
All right.
Right. So that's on Gessie. We seen him run that play over and over again, and the defenders were cheating up a little more each time. Your offense coordinator has to notice that. Your offense coordinator has to set them up to succeed, and we just continue to see that it's not happening.
When was the breakdown? Of course they came out, got on the board first. We ran up like what was it, 21 to 7 at the half?
21-7. 21-7.
When did the letdown take place? And what side of the? I mean, of course we can acknowledge that it was coaching, that the fact that we didn't take points in the end of the game. But what happened with the breakdown? Why had it 21-7 become 28-28? How were they able to just get back in the game with us?
Man, honestly, it was halftime adjustments. It's the attitude that your team has, that your coaches have. We done seen it with Lovie Smith. This was the one flaw that I had with Lovie Smith as a coach, is we would get up, we would get a nice sizable lead, and as we saw with the Falcons in the Super Bowl and countless other times, you can't just sit on a lead in the NFL. You got to put your foot on their throat and stomp until they don't breathe no more. And that's the only way to win. We saw what Miami did. Miami racked up 70 on these boys. We was on pace to put up 60. Why did we stop? Why did we stop attacking? We started running the ball all half long for the second half, and they was airing it out. And Eberflus defense couldn't hack it. He still has what, or 1 or 2 turnovers all season. Week 4, we got 1 or 2 turnovers tops. This is a defense. This is a cover 2. We know what a cover 2 can do, generating turnovers and takeaways. We've seen it with our own eyes. But this is a poorly coached cover 2. This is a poorly executed cover 2. This is a terribly set up cover 2 in terms of personnel. Like it just doesn't work. Like Russell Wilson could sit there back there all day and just pick us apart. And that's what he did. He was like 230 and 3 touchdowns or something with no interceptions. He had a great day. Russ had a
Man,
great
and you know what? And Fields did too. 3 times, what was it? 3 to Kmet. Kmet got 3 touchdowns. Didn't we see Kmet do this?
2 to Kmet, 1 to Herbert, 1 to DJ Moore.
There we go. I was about to say, man, Kmet, I want to say Fields had a breakout game last year. Was it last year when Kmet had several touchdowns? He had maybe 5 touchdowns over a few games or something of that nature. I was happy to see it. What'd you say?
It was either Dolphins or the Cowboys. Kmet grabbed 2 of them things.
I think so. I'm not exactly sure. I'm drawing a blank on that. But I definitely remember he had a time where, man, Fields was hitting them like he was hitting them yesterday. And that was good to watch. DJ Moore was active.
Got another one. Yep.
I think I want to say Herbert ran for over 100 yards. I think he had about 18 carries. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, that's something I wanted to see. I was adamant on that because I felt like we didn't give our backs the opportunity to give our guys a chance to win. And I felt like yesterday we ran it pretty well. But I don't know why we took our foots off the next. And I agree with you that in the second half, I feel like we stopped passing the ball some. And I don't know, man. Play calling just wasn't sensible. But when we went away from Santos and we needed to take the lead at the end of the game, tell me what was going through your mind when you saw that. Of course, if we get the first down, everybody's happy and we can close the game out. But what was going through your mind when you saw them going for that?
Look, I got no problem with going for it. I got no problem with running a play on 4th and 1. You're a 0-3 team. You wanna make a statement. You want to push it in. You want to score the touchdown and end the game. Right. First of all, you should have had that attitude at the end of the 3rd quarter. Right. Not the end of the 4th quarter. That's not the time to have that attitude. Right. Second of all, when that whole sequence happened, I was just stunned. I was absolutely stunned. Like, how does the coach mismanage this situation so poorly? First of all, we ran the clock down to call a timeout right before the play clock runs out, right on that fourth down.
Right. Yeah.
We tried to get him to jump off sides. That's a good play. That's a smart thing to do. Everybody does it. That's a correct call. I like that. But if you're going to do that, you are either going to run a play when that happens, or you are going to kick a field goal after you called a timeout. Because the only reason that you waste the timeout is to put the field goal unit on the field.
Right.
So why were they out there calling the hard count with no play drawn up? Like when Fields walked up and put his hand there, they kind of were like the defense was kind of checking out, like, oh, they're not going to run a play, they're not going to do this. It was half a yard.
Right.
It's Justin Fields.
Right. Run
Why?
the play.
First of all, huge question. We watch the Philadelphia Eagles run this tush push QB sneak week in and week out. We have the only quarterback in the league, I think, who has the same kind of athletic profile as Jalen Hurts, where he could effectively do the same thing. Why don't we ever run? We haven't even attempted to copy that play. We haven't even tried to copy that play with Cole Kmet under center. I can understand if you're like, I don't want my quarterback to get hurt, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to do that. I can understand that, but we don't even try.
Right.
The play is unstoppable. Why have we not attempted to copy it? What is it that we cannot do that the Eagles can do so differently that they can QB sneak and push their quarterback and we can't? First of all, why isn't that a play? So that's one. The second part is when you call that timeout, you are saying, I'm kicking a field goal, I'm taking the points, because you've now burned a resource that your defense will need in order to effectively stand against the offense if they try to come and score and then burn the clock out or whatever. Like, you've got to have that timeout in your back pocket, because if you need to come out and score again, you need to be able to stop the clock. So you can't waste that timeout and then come run a play, and then that play be a handoff read option from shotgun. What? You gonna give the defense 5 yards worth of like anticipation and reaction time from the moment, like when you snap the ball and push, when it's just like hand it to me, I fall forward. That's like you've got a quarter of a second to react as a defense, and that ball is across the first down line.
Right.
When you have to snap the ball back to the quarterback, that's half a second. The quarterback has to catch it and handle it. That's a quarter of a second. Then he has to hand it to the running back. That's another half a second. Then the running back has to run 5 yards from a standstill. That's another second and a half. So that's like a 4-second play minimum just to get to the line of scrimmage. You can't do that for half a yard. If that's all you're gonna do and you're just running straight up the gut and they know that's what you're doing, like what like child is calling these plays?
Right.
That this is what's happening. And Getsy, man, I was so hopeful that like Getsy had figured it out and we don't have to get rid of him. And he figured out how to use Fields, and he was calling plays that Fields was like he really knew and he was comfortable with, and everybody knew what they was doing. And then when you got to the end of the game, it just broke down. It just broke down, and that's right at Fluce's feet for the clock management and the timeouts, and that's right at Getsy's feet for the terrible play calls to end the game. So that's, man. Whew, sorry, I had to rant on that one.
Yeah, and you're not wrong, cuz I wanted to cry, man. It was the game looked so good, and we were winning handily. Like it wasn't that was a game we gave away. That was what I'll say. That's a game that we gave away.
Man, we chose to lose that.
I agree. I totally agree. And I don't know what this does for the morale of your players. But it's not good. I know that. I know this can't be positive in the locker room. What do you think? What do you think we should be looking to do? I know the sentiments of a lot of fans have been get rid of the coach, Getsy, Flus. I can't say I so much disagree.
I can say I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. Like, you cannot send the message you send when your coach fumbles this bag so heavily. Like, this was your quarterback's like coming out day statement game. We done had one coming out day statement game ruined from Justin Fields when the ref booty bumped that linebacker Marsh or whatever, Cassius Marsh, and threw the flag. And then the Steelers scored the field goal on that drive and then won by 2. Right, that was one statement game that they ruined, and that was the refs and Vegas and whoever was shaving points that day. Then there was a second time his coming out game got ruined, which was I think it was the Dolphins game, I want to say, when he had that 175-yard thing, and then Claypool falling backwards, getting no PI call or whatever, and then the EQ drop. They didn't let Justin drive down the field. That was the second statement coming out game that got ruined for Justin Fields. Um, then another one was the Cowboys game. I think it was like back to back where Fields was tearing up the Cowboys defense. Monty fumbles. Fields doesn't touch Parsons down because he's thinking he's already down or whatever, that college mindset of when your knees are down and you recover it. That got ruined. Like, and then now this is devastating. Devastating. I don't know how Justin Fields gets up in the morning, G. I
Yeah.
like, man, I would have rolled out of bed, looked at Coach Eberflus, looked at Coach Getsy, and then got back in bed. G, I'd have been like, you know what, screw it. I can't deal with y'all. They're ruining this kid's career. They're like, did you see him on the sideline after the game? Kid
I
is
didn't.
despondent.
I didn't. He probably looked like me, tears coming out of his face.
Man, he was just sitting there, and they said he was in a locker for 30 minutes, just staring at the ground in his uniform, bro.
I mean, because if you don't win the games where you play great, what do you expect? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't win when you do well,
Because it's not up to him. It's not up to him to win. Wins are not a QB stat. Period. They never have been, and you cannot count them as such. Great quarterbacks win a lot when they have great coaching, right? But I mean, I don't know how you throw for 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, and like at the end of the game, everything goes to hell in a handbasket in the last 2 to 3 minutes. It's insane. It's insane that we keep putting him in this situation. We keep doing this to this kid because he doesn't deserve it.
he really doesn't. And what if
It's
you're
terrible.
CAIRO SANTOS, what are you thinking? When you we're gonna when they not just that they go for it, because again, like we said, okay, I get it. You want to make a statement, but to not to call such a terrible play and not get it. If I'm CAIRO SANTOS, I'm like, man, what what the heck?
Man, like you might as well just kick the three. It would have been overtime. And then what makes it almost
They might not
like,
have scored.
yeah, but what makes it almost that's what I'm saying. What makes it almost poetically bad? What makes it almost like this is a joke? We live in a simulation. This was the script. Like the very next play, a blown coverage,
Mhm.
and some freaking backup receiver is 40 yards downfield. They got in field goal range in one play
Immediately. Yep.
against Eberflus's trash defense
Yep.
yet again. We don't got no Eddie Jackson out there. Why are we playing single high all game? First of all, Russell Wilson doesn't use the middle of the field, play the boundaries. Russell
Right.
Wilson has never thrown to the middle of the field because he can't see it. Have Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens or Billings or whoever the biggest, strongest guys you got are, collapse the pocket right into his face and play the hell out of the boundaries. You will beat Russell Wilson.
Right.
Period. The Rams have been doing it. The 49ers have been doing it. Watch the tape. That's how you do it. And Russell will throw you interceptions. He will try to lace the receivers on the boundary, but guess what? He don't got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett out there. He got freaking Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy. Judy is all right, but he ain't DK.
Right.
So Jalen was out too. Honestly, it was rookie corners.
Yeah. It
God,
was tough. It was
but
tough.
either way, you gotta play those boundaries. You cannot give him the deep sideline shots. He will take them and he will lace you all day. So the game plan was trash. Like we held them for the first half and then they adjusted and we didn't. And
Right.
that's been the story since these coaches showed up. The Green Bay game, it was what 10-7 or 10-6 or something like that at the half. And then the third quarter came and they scored like 21 unanswered because we don't make adjustments at halftime. These coaches have to go. They are not good coaches.
I
Period.
agree. I agree. What do we look? Where are we looking? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Pose was doing a good job. And maybe as far as the talent, maybe he was. But as far as these coaches,
You gotta
where
you
do
gotta
we
see
look, man?
that.
What do we do? What do we do?
Man, I was gonna ask you because
I
I
think we
don't
should have them
know.
tune in. If we can get We're Talking Bears to go viral, maybe some of this good tutelage will rub off on them. But I don't know, man. I know was a big advocate for not getting rid of the coaches mid-season or early in the season, but I don't think we have another option. I think you have to send a message to your team that this is not acceptable, and
Right.
we're not going to continue. Like you said, you guys don't deserve this. There's
They
got to be
don't.
something, man. There's got to be something.
No, I agree. And I wish I knew what happened in those like back rooms and those meetings and whatnot when the coaches were being hired. Because what I heard, what it sounded like to the public was like they hired polls and as like you said, like from a talent perspective and like a salary cap management and trades, and he's been excellent.
Right.
Excellent. I have no issues with his talent acquisition and with his draft strategies, and I got no problem with any of that stuff. I support almost all the moves he did. I would probably did very similar or the same thing were I capable of, executing that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, love that vision. What I don't like, what I don't understand is to what involvement is McCaskey, is the ownership of the Bears involved with this coaching search? Because Eberflus fits their type of coach to a T, a defensive guy, a real personality guy. You know what I mean? Like one of them, like I'm a kind soul type people. And Lovey was the only guy like that that has ever worked.
Yeah.
Because Lovey was like that, like he was that southern kind of dude where like, you know, he nice, but you got to do what he say or you off the team. Plays ball. So
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Lovey Stevens worked at that time in that NFL like landscape that was there, and with the players that we had, like it worked,
Yeah.
right? But I don't know why they chose Eberflus. The hits principle has turned out to be a joke. Uh, the- I mean, there's hustle, but the football situation, obviously, that's not a resounding success with uh intensity. Boy, we be rolling over and and,
No.
and freaking playing dead. So that's dead. Uh Takeaways.
Right.
Takeaways. What
Right.
what are those? What
Against
are
the backups, we got some
ta-
last week against the
what
backups.
are,
I think
what are takeaways? Who knows what the T stands for in hits, because it ain't that. And then what smarts? Like if the coach ain't smart with the clock, that's all you got to manage. You're the CEO coach or whatever the heck. If you ain't been smart with the clock in 2 years, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like what is hits? Like it's not working. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. I don't think it will work. It's not like you see Dan Campbell on the other side in Detroit, and he got them freaking running through walls, beating up the Chiefs, like playing their hearts out. Man, watching the Detroit team beat up the Packers that stomped all over us and blow them out. Come on, man. We got maybe not quite as much talent as that roster. Their defensive line is significantly better than ours, especially with Aiden Hutchinson or whatever. But pretty much man for man, outside of that, we got an advantage. So what's going on? Why
Right.
aren't we playing better? Where's the results?
Right.
I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
Who we got coming up? Week 5. This the
Commanders, it's Thursday. It's a short week. So,
also
you guys gonna be seeing this real early. We're not gonna have too much time to throw extra videos in there or whatnot. But uh, Commanders, man, this is week 5 Commanders for the second year in a row. And it's on Thursday night, and I don't like this matchup. I don't like this tradition. The one positive is I think Justin Fields can roll in there with a much better grasp of the offense if Luke Getsy can figure out how to contain their defensive line, which is uber talented. I hope to God we get Tevin back. Otherwise, this could be a long one.
Right. It'd be nice to get this win.
It would be
Check one off with the W, Khalil.
Like, how long has it been since our last win, G? What week was it that we won?
14 weeks, I think they said.
14 consecutive games. Like in terms of like days.
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 200. No, more than that. 315. I don't know.
It's been too many, man. It's been too many, man. Like I have entire friendships that I didn't even have the last time a Bears team won. You know what I mean?
That's
like
effective for you.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I done learned to snowboard since the Bears have won last. G. It's wild. It's wild. I don't really understand how we could keep riding with this and not making change. Like, I get it's a short week, but
the
man,
one thing for me is that I come on, we're talking Bears and predict the Bears to win week in and week out, and they don't even win the games that I'm confident in them really winning. I mean, I say it no matter what, but they don't win when I'm confident in them winning. I was positive that we were going to come out stronger this season. I thought we would win our division this year, and now by the looks of things, we might be the weakest in our division right now.
I still think we're a better team than both the Packers and the Vikings. The Lions, that's a foregone conclusion. They're the better team. They're just so much better coached than us, and their defensive line is significantly better. But honestly, cuz I admire you and your relentless support, because I can't even predict wins no more, man. I love to predict the Bears win, but
yeah,
man,
it's tough. But I mean, we watch them though. We sit here and we look at what's going on. We have the talent. Sometimes to me, it's crazy to think that you can't get the talent involved. Now I remember I was talking to Unc and I was telling him sometimes I think team sports are bigger than just winning and losing. If I'm the best player on the team, or me and you are the best players on the team, and the guy and you're the quarterback and I'm the receiver, and the guys blocking for you were terrible. Sometimes it's like, hey, throw the ball up here. You get what I'm saying? Give me a chance to make a play. I don't care what's going on with these other guys. They're not good enough, but you got to give me an opportunity. And I feel like that mentality is what you get from great players, right? Nobody's going to want to be a great player that can't be involved in the game. And the excuse is the other team is too good. It's like, well, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
right.
You got to get your guys involved. And sometimes to me, that's bigger than winning and losing, because you got to take the talent that you have and put it in a position to shine. You may not always win, but it means something to your better players, to your skilled guys, to have those opportunities and to know that you have that confidence in them. That's like, hey, we may have a terrible line and we may have, you know what I'm saying, maybe outmatched, but it's like, no, throw the ball up here. I can go get it. And sometimes that's all that it is. And I think that's what the confidence that Justin needs. I think the game against the Broncos showed some of it, hopefully coming to him. But I think that's what it's all about. It's just knowing that, like, look, man, these other guys ain't. We tell them any given Sunday, look, we got a third string quarterback that ain't going to produce nothing. It's like that sometimes. It's like, so you got to go out there and yeah, it's asking a lot, but sometimes that's what it takes. And you get what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to put that, the coach has to instill that confidence in your star players to say, hey, these other guys ain't going to produce like we need them to. So you're going to have to trust yourself and just go out there and play ball. And if nothing else, man, I'm hoping we can find some of that, because I feel like in any team sports, that's the main ingredient. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't have confidence in your guys and you're not confident to say, hey, I'm gonna throw the ball to you, even if I'm pressured, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. It matters, you know what I'm saying? And when you see guys like Claypool, well, I'm not saying that I agree with his attitude completely, but if I'm Claypool and you're not throwing me the ball, or you're telling me, oh, we can't get you the ball, I have a problem with that. I don't care how bad our offensive line, you know. So I'm just hoping they can fix that part, because I feel like we ain't going anywhere until these guys have some confidence in each other.
Man, I heard they shopping Claypool.
I'm not surprised. He said the coaches are not using them correctly, and I agree. I mean, I agree. I heard a clip of somebody on another team, I forget who it was, saying it to DJ Moore. And I mean, he didn't throw the coaches under the. Yeah, he didn't throw the coaches under the bus quite like Claypool, but he was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
we
I'll
all
say
see.
this, since then, we really have been getting DJ involved. I think
I
he's
agree.
caught a touchdown in 3 of the 4 games this year. He's off to his I say one more touchdown, and he's matched his career average for touchdowns in a season. He usually gets 4. I think last year he got 7, which was his career high.
And
So at this
who
rate,
knows?
he's gonna have like 15, which great. Love
Mhm.
that. Feed him. Like
Yeah,
he's already paid. It's not making him more expensive to have good stats.
right.
Give that man the ball 100 times. I am so happy with the way Justin is feeding DJ and the game he had. But again, like you said, man, it's like how much of that confidence that these players are born with, that they need to have in order to perform at this insanely high level, has been eroded already. And can this coaching staff even recover it? Do you even think that these guys can inspire more confidence in them to finish the season out strong, or is that just like
I'm gonna
gone?
be honest, absolutely not, because I feel like it's only one or two things. As a coach, you're either adding to that confidence or you're detracting from it. I don't think you can go one way and then go the other way, really. I think it's kind of like a
Mm,
culture. You know, when they talk about cultures, I think that's one of those culture things. And I feel like you're either a person who knows your coach has confidence in them or your coach doesn't have confidence. I don't think it feels like, the first couple games, no confidence, then game 4, 5, 6, confidence, and then 7. I don't think it works like that. I don't think
yeah,
it works like that. I think that's what shows you when you have a Brett Favre to go out there and throw picks, and he's going to keep throwing because the coach is not going to crap on him when he has a bad game. You get what I'm saying? Because he has confidence in him. And I think that when you're to the point where the player starts losing confidence in himself, I don't think you can get it back. I'm not going to lie to you. I think if you're a coach and you're doing that to your players, because let's be honest, I don't think they're going in there and saying lose confidence. You know what I'm saying? I think it's
mm,
something that how they're coaching them and how they're dealing with them, that they just don't have the confidence. They don't feel that confidence from their coaches, and I think we can see it in the play. I think we can see it in the play. For DJ Moore, though, I wouldn't be surprised if him and Justin have talked. I've seen some of the passes, like the one he caught in the end zone, they thought was going to come back. I thought it was a good touchdown that ended up holding up. He got the touchdown. But it's like some of these passes aren't all like check down, simple cookie cutter passes. He's been making some pretty good catches. You get what I'm saying? Some
yeah,
in traffic and it's like throw him the ball. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's what he's there for. He's supposed to be able to make catches against the defender. You get what I'm
Against the
saying?
best defenders in the league, he torched Pat Surtain. Pat
Mm-hmm.
Surtain is one of the top 3 corners in the league. He had that man on the ground
Right.
multiple times.
Right.
On the ground.
And how do you think he feels when he's playing somebody who's not that good and you can't even you tell him you can't get it to him? It's like,
Uh,
man, you better get it to me.
right,
So
right.
I'm
Figure it out.
happy about that. And I'm hoping that's something that
Yeah.
Fields and him can build off of, because I feel like it is bigger than the coaches, though. I do feel like Fields and the team can get it back. I just don't think the coaches will be the cause of it at this point. You know what I mean? I feel like as a team, when you come together with your players and you all develop that chemistry and that bond and that confidence in each other, I don't think that's something that a coach can stop either way. Now, I think if coaches are bad at play calling and you're not incredible at audibling their terrible play calls, you're going to struggle. But the confidence that you have in your teammates, I think you can develop that as a team, and I feel like that's the best of what we can hope for right now with the current culture of how coaching is going.
Yeah. No, I'm fully with you. And and basically, so what you're saying basically is Justin Fields can inspire that confidence in his teammates despite the coaches.
I
But
agree.
the
Yes.
coaches at this point really are what they are.
Yes. Yes.
So that being the case, right? Week 4, one of the most devastating losses in Bears history,
I was about to say ever.
to
Oh
go
man.
with like the string of what 30-point losses or whatever it is, 25 plus point losses that Eberflus has, which is the longest of any. He is the statistically the worst Bears coach that's ever coached right now. He is the worst. He's worse than Mark Trestman. Think about that sentence.
That's tough. And I was about to say trust me. I was about to say trust me.
Like that what was it, 2014 we brought in Trestman or whatever. That roster was a terrible roster too. And Eberflus's roster last year might have been worse. But I'll tell you this, Justin Fields is better than any player that Trestman had on that roster at that time, including Cutler. And I say that wholeheartedly, right? Like, I love Cutler. Kudos to him. He fought it out here through all kinds. Like, what did we go through? 5 offensive coordinators with Cutler in his first like 5 years here, or something like that. 4 and 5 years.
Yeah.
But Fields is better than Cutler. He's a better quarterback, hands down. And he's young and he needs more seasoning. Like Cutler, I think, came to us with more games of experience already than Fields has played up to today. I think Cutler had like 2 full seasons before he came here, where Fields is just now touching 31 games. And it's 17 game seasons now. So he should be at 33 for 2 years. So Fields hasn't even hit 2 full years of games yet.
Right.
And like these coaches are just like throwing him to the wolves week after week. This is the first week where I really feel like the game plan was really built for Fields. The first week where I was like, oh, this kid really knows these progressions. He's really comfortable with these concepts. They're really calling stuff that suits his strengths, that lets him just rip it. And you could tell, you could see by the way he played on the field, the chains of plays, the way that they were setting up DBs, it was working. And it was significantly better play calling than I've seen all year. And small surprise, it worked. And I've seen Getsy is capable of this. But if we come out of this week 5 game, if Fields looks good again, and we lose again, which is not in any way out of the realm of possibility, you got a 9-day period before the next game. Do you fire the coaches then and try to replace them during that long week?
I mean, I'm with firing them as soon as we can. You know what? I think I don't know if there's a better time. I don't know if there's a better time. Yeah, because my thing is this, and I don't, like I said, I don't like to be negative on anybody. These guys are professionals. They want to, be coaches and provide for their families like anybody else at a job. I don't just want to see them out of a job, but they're not doing the job we need them to do. And I don't see that changing for them. Unfortunately, I don't see that changing for the coaches. I do see the Bears can get better, and maybe Getsy calls a better game next week. But I don't know if I think that's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm thinking that in a week's time they'll figure it all out. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm expecting that. It'd be nice. But honestly, I wouldn't be upset if they got rid of these guys at any time. But get us somebody who will know how to use the talent that we have, at least to maximum potential. We may not win a championship this year, the first year. You get what I'm saying, with the new coach. But it's still, to me, you should be able to take the talent that's on the field and get the most out of it. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think these coaches are gonna do that. So whether it's tomorrow during the 9-day week, the time off to in between games, it won't make a difference to me. You get what I'm saying? And win or lose, I don't think I'll be convinced in the coaches in that manner. Because to me, honestly, if you turn around next week and you have it all figured out, I'm questioning what was wrong with you before. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like, where's it coming from? So I don't know, man. I just hope it gets better because I love some of the talent we have on the team, and I don't want to see it squandered, man. What I hate to see in Chicago is having the makings of what could be a great team or the makings of what could be a winner, and we never put it together fully, or we have to see some super talented players never quite get to compete at the level that we hope for. And with Fields coming to us as a rookie, with us drafting him and some of the other pieces that we have, I want to see us put together a team sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? That we actually can expect to go out there and represent Chicago well and hopefully bring us back another Super Bowl. You know, that's what we play for. So,
man, and I think, man, if anybody could do it, of all the people I've seen that come through this team in the last 20 years plus, man, Fields has the juice to do that, man. He has got the juice that he can turn on that teams just can't account for. Either you play zone and like he picks you apart like he did if he can really get comfortable doing that week in and week out, and he can really get comfortable where his receivers are, like the trust that he has developed with DJ Moore already is just staggering. It's staggering. It's been 4 weeks of it, and there was a play. It must have been some kind of miscommunication on the O line, or that somebody was like botching the snap count. But Lucas Patrick hiked the ball. Darnell Wright and Larry Borum did not move. They both sat there as the play started and only started moving after the defensive line had already rushed past them. Khalil Herbert picks up the blitzer on the right, or not even a blitzer, the down lineman, one of the 4 down linemen, the 2 guards or whatever block, and then the guy comes unblocked. The defensive end comes unblocked around the left side. Field sees DJ Moore, stands as he's getting hit in the face by a D lineman, delivers a ball that I swear to God, if you took the air out of the ball, laid it flat, and tried to stick it through a mail slot, it would not have fit through that window. But DJ Moore caught that boy on a 3rd and 9. I swear to God, it's to the point where Fields isn't even bothered by pressure because he gets hit so much. But he still has the fucking ability. Sorry for my language, but he still has the ability and the presence and the instincts to rip that throw. Like you can't teach that in a critical down and distance while we're trying to battle for our freaking our lives, man. Give me Justin Fields over everybody, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no Caleb Williams.
And DJ Moore is catching
rookie. DJ Moore's catching everything. DJ Moore everything. Get that thing in his vicinity. That thing is coming down. So, I just need us to not ruin the one good thing we got going. Because my biggest fear is we ride Eberflus out to the end of the year, and he does terrible for the rest of the year, and then we fire him, and some new coach comes in and says, "I don't want Justin Fields."
Right.
I would honestly, if I was posed, if some new coach came in and said, "I don't want Justin Fields," I would say, "Then you're not the coach."
Right. Right.
Period.
And you know what was crazy is yesterday at times in that game, I saw what you were seeing, and the typical plays where they'd be like, "Oh, well, Justin's holding the ball," or he, like you said, he was taking those hits with the pressure, he was getting the ball out. It was a couple of times I seen the O-line, of course, broke down. He was able to get the ball out. Who was the backup tight end? One play he was in for one play where he got some yards. Yes, he got some yards on a play where they got some pressure to him quick, and he just kind of got the ball out to him. But that's what we need to see, right? It's like some options for him, some different looks for him when the pressure comes. And it seemed like yesterday was the first time I saw it all there, where it didn't take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds to a sack. You get what I'm saying? He was able to move the ball in some of those pressure situations. And I feel like if we could manage to do that consistently, we would be great on offense, on the offensive side. You get what I'm saying?
You're
unstoppable. That's something that unstoppable, and that's something I haven't seen. That's something I haven't seen with this team yet. So that was a bright spot for me to see yesterday. Of course, the miscues killed us, but these are like just like last year. These are games we can win. Well, at the end of these games, we're not looking at it. I mean, we are outmatched sometimes, like the Chiefs game, but we're not looking back at these games saying, "Oh, we didn't have a chance." We're looking back at these games and saying, "Hey, we need to get better and do better, and coaching needs to do better because we have the talent." So we've got to make some changes because there's no reason to have the talent and you're sitting here wondering why you can't win games.
Yeah, man, it's really frustrating as a fan. It's really frustrating from watching. It's embarrassing to the city. And we are here arguing about Soldier Field. Like, who's playing in Soldier Field? Who's running this team? Because the McCaskies need to do a better job. End of story.
Absolutely,
they got to do a better job because they're failing the players, they're failing the fans, they're failing the city. That's
big really the fans. And let me tell you this: it breaks my heart to hear people say, "This is why I don't like the Bears. This is why I can't be Bears fans no more. I'm gonna let y'all y'all can have it. Y'all can have this team. Send them to Arlington." And like, I get it, man. I get it, but I'm tired of hearing it. And they're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. There's no way we should be going through this. It's okay to not have the best team every year, but it's not acceptable to have the worst team every year. It's just not. It's just not.
Oh, that's beyond unacceptable, man. Like, Hayes got to roll. Like, Eberflus is coming up on the longest losing streak in NFL history.
Is it that bad?
The Detroit Lions went 0-16. Eberflus is coming up on 16 in a row. Like I don't really see how you can get much longer than that.
You're right. Look, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
and you got to show that, and you got to show that the moves you've been making all off season mean something. We were 3-14 last year. You can't be 3-14 again. But we
can't, man. We looking for one.
That's what I'm saying. We're looking for one. We're definitely trending to be insane.
How you spend all that money, all them draft picks, all these highly touted players? Darnell Wright looking like an absolute monster at right tackle, looks like a cornerstone of the future. Justin Fields, for all his youth and inexperience and just not having enough time on task yet. Like, think about it. The man has played probably 1/2 of an hour for 31 games. So that's what, 16, 17 hours of professional football. That's what this man has played. So, like, as young as he is, as talented as he is, we've seen what he can do to the best defenses in the league. We've seen him shred them with his legs and now with his arm. That wasn't the best defense in the league, but we've seen it happen. So, like, where do you get off this horse as the people who run this team, as McCaskey, as Kevin Warren, the new president, who was formerly the Big Ten president? If there's anybody who could look at this team and say that these kids don't deserve better than what they're getting out of these coaches, than the situations they're being put in, and the lack of maximization of their talent and potential, like, where do you look at that and say that this is enough? This is good enough for you to continue working with this organization?
Right.
Because if my performance review looked like Eberflus's, I'd have been fired. I wouldn't have a job.
Man, come on now. I don't understand it. I don't understand. It's only a few professions that you just get to do a terrible job and nothing happens and nobody cares. And this is one of them.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's one of the McCaskey things where they won't fire nobody mid-season. Like, I know old heads don't like it. They're like, "Oh, you got to finish the season because you said no, you don't."
But hire somebody that's gonna do good,
right,
before the season starts.
Right. They hiring dudes with no prior experience.
Right.
I don't know. Sign me up for a job for $1 million a year.
I've been saying that. There's definitely some people I'm sure can do a better job than they're doing right now.
And you know what's
crazy? If experience doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, come on, come get us.
You know what's crazy, man? When I was first looking at Getsy, when we first hired him, I was like, okay, he's the passing game coordinator in Green Bay. So we're pulling out of that offense. We're trying to get somebody who really understands how Aaron Rodgers really is able to tear up these defenses week in and week out. And that could be good for Justin Fields' development. But when I looked at his time as an offensive coordinator in college, because he'd never done it in the NFL, only in college, and wide receivers coach in the NFL, it was like he had some dual threat quarterbacks, and his run game was crazy. Like, he was like leading whatever conference he was in rushing, but the passing numbers were abysmal. At that time, I was like, okay, well, we know we'll have a good run game. You know what I mean? Justin Fields got legs, so he'll be able to use his legs creatively. And last year we saw that.
All right.
But you know what else we saw? The passing game was abysmal. And then this year, up to this point, the passing game has been abysmal. So I'm starting to wonder if that's just Luke Getsy, if he just can't call pass plays.
It's looking like that. I mean, it's looking like
that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. It took the worst defense in the NFL for Luke Getsy's passing offense to look like it was really competent at something. Jeez. So, man, like, if these concepts don't work against the Commanders, if Fields doesn't look good against the Commanders, Getsy's head got to roll first, and Flus got to be right after him. Yeah. It just got to. There's too many dudes that can put together a decent game plan to let this continue. Because if we get to the end of the season and Fields is still a question mark over his head, they're gonna draft Caleb Williams. And they're gonna move on from Fields after 3 years, which is just embarrassing. And then he's gonna go to Atlanta. He's gonna have Bijan Robinson in the backfield and Drake London and Kyle Pitts running routes, and he's gonna freaking be an all-pro the first year in Atlanta, and we're gonna look stupid while we struggle with another rookie. and I'm gonna be so mad. Honestly, I'll just switch allegiance. I'll just be an Atlanta fan at that point.
I'll just switch
We're
allegiance.
talking Falcons. Like, why not, man? Because Bears screw us over that bad, dude. I won't be able to deal with it, man. I'm gonna go to Hallis Hall myself, and I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind because it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That might be a way to do that. To whom it may concern. Or sending letters in.
It's not gonna be written down. I'm gonna tell you that. It's gonna be vocal. It's gonna be loud, and it's not gonna be something that you really want to hear when you on your morning commute. So
I hear. Well, I hope they can turn it around, man. I hope it gets better.
It ain't any hope.
4 was not a bad game for Justin Fields. It was a bad game for coaching. It was a bad game for coaching. That's what I'm gonna say. Chalk this one up to what we know has also been an issue, and it's time for them to do something about it, man. It's gotta get better.
Man, you can't just wallow in mediocrity, and you definitely can't wallow in terribleness.
And we're from Chicago, and you know what? I saw a post yesterday. It kind of pissed me off, and I want to make sure I point this out. That's why I'm channeling my inner Chicago right now. You see, I got my one losing team, second losing team. You got a losing team. We're talking about a losing team. This has to stop. This has to stop, man. I'm from Chicago. We don't lose like this.
No, we don't. We don't. I don't know how we're supposed to deal with all this, man. Like, hey, the Blackhawks are nice. They got that Connor Bedard kid. He supposed to be cold. He the next Patty Kane. So they'll probably win some more Stanley Cups, and we'll have somebody winning in Chicago. But it ain't none of us.
And you know what? That's crazy because the Bears at this point is the longest team without a championship. So
in Chicago, the
Bears got to be next.
The Bears have gone what damn near 40 years now without a chip.
Definitely 40 years. It's like
Cubs won a chip.
The Cubs, and that's what I'm saying. They went 100 years. We don't need to be like them.
Man, I'm saying. So, we'll see how it plays out, man. I've seen a lot of people calling for Poles' head. Look, I don't agree with all that. I think he's done well as the GM, just from a management standpoint. He brought in the players Eberflus wanted. He's brought in the culture fits that Eberflus wanted. He's really stocked up draft picks. He's managed the salary cap well. I think Poles has done an okay job, but if he can't move off of the one mistake he has made, that's going to be his head too.
Yep.
That's because Kevin Warren didn't bring Poles on.
Totally agree.
Warren will go get his guy, and then we'll be starting over again. And I swear to God, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt, man. So hopefully that it don't come to that.
Well, I'm Nephew.
I'm Son.
And we're talking Bears. Still.
Will not stop.